Alright, we're live on YouTube, and Twitch is going. Good. Okay, hey everyone, this is Will from Productions², and we're going to be doing maybe not a short stream, but hour and a half or so stream. I'm going to stream till 9 o'clock, basically. I should have kept streaming last night, because after I got off stream, I made the epicness happen, let's put it that way. So I'll show you the rocket I ended up making. And I was finally able to make something that got into orbit and still had enough fuel to get over to the station. And then, on the first time up with this thing, I actually managed to get it docked with the station and to refuel it and get the station in a much better orbit than what it was in. So I should have kept streaming, but... So if you remember, the orbit before was really wonky. The periapsis was like 360k and the apoapsis was like 750k, something like that. I pulled it into under 100k, actually not under 100. I think, well, maybe under 100. I can't remember exactly where it's at now. We shall find out. See, I got it much in a much more circular orbit. 139 and 158, yeah, so it's pretty close to circular. And I also refueled it, so it has plenty of fuel for the sky crane now when it comes over. It's still on that same inclination, so we do have, we do have that part there. One thing I'm going to do with the sky crane is I'm going to add some lights to it, because if we hit the line of the dark side of the moon, it's better to have some light there to be able to deal with it. So first, let me go show you the rocket I made. So this is what I found out through all my playing of this game. Whatever type of size part you have on the top section, on the bottom section, you have to go one larger. So, like for example, if you have one major size larger, so let's say for example you have Rocco Max size stuff on the top, on your liftoff stages, you have to have Kerbal, because that gives you enough lift to get up without having to do something insane. And I ended up doing something really, it was actually kind of crazy simple. So let me get the refueler loaded here. So it's just pretty simple. So what I ended up doing though was, so there's actually a, I want to change this though. What's in the engine here? I have, well, no, never mind. I'll keep the skipper, because that worked out pretty damn well. So, we have a skipper engine on the last stage, which pulls fuel from all of this. It burns it really slowly, and it gives you enough thrust to move this. It takes a while, but that's what you want when you're trying to dock, because you don't want to go too fast. And then we got a whole bunch, what was it, 7, mammoths down here with 2 tanks on top of them each, and they're asparagus staged together. So this allowed me to get up into orbit with, I think, 2 tanks left with just maybe 10, like 2 to 5% of their fuel left. And then I used this last mammoth to normalize the orbit. I didn't get all the way to a normalized orbit though, so I had to use the skipper engine for a while. But I didn't burn that much fuel at all. I ended up having about 30% of our fuel left when I got there to the moon, and then I spent another 10% docking. The RCS thrusters, while they don't provide a whole lot of thrust, that's good, because it makes it so much easier to dock this thing. Because it's easier to make adjustments without going too far over, which is just perfect. You don't want to have too much thrust when you're with something you're going to dock, because if you have too much thrust, like I think the docking tutorial, they put way too many RCS thrusters on that thing. There should have just been maybe just 2. Well, you kind of have to do 4, 1 at each point, so maybe not. But I think they might have put like 8 on that thing or something. I don't know. But it had way too much thrust on it. This thing was pretty easy to get into place, actually. I had a couple of false starts trying to get the docking ports to lock, but eventually they did. So that's the refueler I built. And actually what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to take... Well, the upper part's kind of like what the sky crane is, sort of. So yeah, I guess we can do that. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to make this a sub-assembly, because this works pretty damn well. Stop. Okay. Charge my watch. Damn. Alright, so we're just going to drop this over to the sub-assembly zone. Reattention. I'm going to call it KB liftoff stages. So Carbidine lift stages. And then we're going to use that on our sky crane. So we're going to open up the sky crane. Don't save. Or actually, that's right. We already had a liftoff stage on it, didn't we? And this allowed us to get to the moon. Yeah, but we got the Werner engines on there. I'm gonna take those off. I actually did see the batteries draining on when I did the last on the last rocket. So not sure what causes them to drain and what doesn't. It just seems really random. So this actually worked pretty well the way it's designed. Kind of, sort of. I think it did do a little bit of rocking around. I just don't know how to handle that, because you can't put a fairing around this thing because it's too large. I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe a Carbidine fairing, but still, it's a little bit too large. So, let's do 3 of these. And we're not going to do asparagus staging, we're just going to feed the fuel directly into the center engine. Come on. Stop being stupid. It's early in the morning for stupid attachment nonsense. Yeah, so I'll take this one off, stick this one on top, and reattach this down here. Alright, fuel lines. Okay, to there. Then strutting. Usually the best rocket designs are the simplest. You don't have to go overly complex. Okay, now we need to do put some wings on. Let's turn over to angle snapping. Crap. what we want to do is we want to bring over the rovers. So we actually have to turn those into sub-assemblies. So let me save this. Now let's open up the rover. Or did I already do a sub-assembly for it? Oh, I didn't. Okay. So. Well, that's interesting. Wouldn't let me, Oh, drag and drop. I was trying to, click and drop. Click and drop. Oh, interesting. So a subassembly can't have... Well, we can re-add the last parts there, I guess. Alright, attach this. Ah, come on. I guess we gotta get rid of this first. Alright. Base transfer rover. Let's go ahead and open up our sky crane again. So now we're going to attach the two of these onto this. And this is going to be really fun. So we'll have to use the side ports to attach them here. So actually what I need to do first is I need to rotate this entire thing. So that the docking ports are facing that direction. Okay, next thing I need to do is to rotate this. I need to move it. I might need to reroute this thing. In other words, make this the root of the rocket. In order to do this properly. You have to again trick the editor a bit to allow you to do it over here and do this stuff properly on this port. So let's go ahead and put that back on, and then we need to put on the advanced grabbing unit, which I believe is there. Okay. Then we need to go to the reroute tool. So we have to select the part, and then we have to select the okay, wait, I did that wrong. We have to select... Okay, great, now we are hanged up a bit. I think cast speed has crashed, I think. Got the blue wheel of doom doing its thing. Blue circle of doom. And I don't think it's coming out of this one. Nope. Alright, we'll have to restart. Damn. First time I've actually had it crash that way. I've had KSP crash plenty of times, but never that way. So I'm just remembering I was watching some of KSC's videos, and one thing he was doing was he was sticking a bunch of structural bits on top of docking ports. I think he was doing that so he could attach things to the structural bits without having to deal with trying to do what we're trying to do now. Maybe that's the better way to go, because, well, first I got to figure out if how he was detaching those afterwards. So maybe we instead of putting them like on the side like that on the ports, we put some structural bits. Well, if you can unattach them from docking ports, it would probably be better to planning unplanned disassembly. I actually did that on last night. I actually planned an unplanned disassembly. I was gonna leave the refueler attached to the station. Then I realized that I had a Clapotron Junior instead of a Clapotron on it, so I had to dock it on the Sky Crane port. And I wasn't going to leave it just sitting there in orbit because there wasn't really enough fuel to really do anything if I had to reattach it to dock with the station. So I just pointed it to the moon and accelerated to a pretty high velocity, about 1,000 meters a second. And the explosion was so glorious on impact that the game froze for a few seconds and didn't show it, and then a bunch of parts went skittering off very quickly off into space, and we're probably floating towards the sun at this point. Didn't want to leave any debris on the moon or around in orbit around it. Ran enough problems anyway in the first place with this whole asinine crazy plan without having to worry about not running into crap floating around the moon. Okay, so we still have to do the whole well, actually it might have already saved the subassembly. It should be there, actually. Shouldn't have to recreate it. Just need to add it back into the thing here. Alright, Sky Crane. Load. First things first. So I was using a small structural bit. These cubicle family struts. Well, that was for Clapotron Juniors. We might want to use these girders for that. So I just want to save this. We're just going to go to the launch pad, and I'm going to see if we can actually deattach this somehow. That's going to be critical. If we can get, as long as we can get rid of these things once we land the rover section, that's fine. We have to be able to disconnect it from the rover, and, well, really doesn't matter if we can disconnect it from this or not. Oh, it doesn't look like it can come off. So I'm not sure what he did with that. Somehow I made it so you could take them. You could just take them off. Okay. So recover the vessel, and we'll see if we can just attach them the way we're trying to or not. So I think what he did is he just put the rover on the ship somewhere. Let's get rid of that. Rooted it, pulled the rocket off, and then, well, pulled off the docking port in the rover. Pulled off the, yeah, and then reattached the port with the rover on it as a double thing, double cycle symmetry, and redid it that way. So, whoops, nope, don't want that. We want the rover. So I'm just gonna put it somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. I don't think. I'm not gonna put a thing on it. We're just gonna. Okay, there we go. Now I just want to pull this whole rocket assembly off. Actually, let's put it back on for a second. Alright, let's try, the only problem I'm having is that we don't have an attachment point right there. It's not letting me do an attachment. Can we reroute it like this? Where's my ring at on this? Oh, it's up here on top. No, yeah. Well, actually, maybe we need to do the port as the root point. That way I can move it. Damn. Now it's frozen again. Alright, let me go check. I'm gonna kill the output for a second here. I'm gonna go watch that video where it's attached to the rover, because this is gonna be insane if I don't. That's orbiter. So, moon base. What video was it? Which video? Let's see. Assembling new modules, is it part 2? Oh, it's the, okay, where is the video? It's actually like a tag-along video or something. It might be on the first part. Attaching rovers to Skycrane. There it is. Okay. Oh. Okay, so we have to do the subassembly a little bit differently. Now, what about the actual Skycrane bit? Interesting. So technically, we wanted to, okay. So technically, we want to do. Okay, so you kind of did a little few too many steps you didn't have to do. All right, I think we know what I have to do now. So what we have to do is we have to use a change route on the rover before we make it a subassembly, And we have to make the side docking port the root. Or not the root, but so we have to add a docking port onto it to be able to make that the root, and then we can drop the whole thing into the subassembly after we pull that off of that new docking port. And then we use that side docking port to connect to the docking port on the I mean, I have to change. I think that I'm not sure if those are Clampetrons or Clampetron Juniors on the Sky Crane landing section, rover section, whatever. So we'll need to take a look at that. While this is loading, I'm actually going to go, hopefully it doesn't screw it up, I'm going to jump out real quick, and I want to go try and find out why the hell it's crashing on rerouting for. Interesting. So somebody said they had to reinstall all their mods because something got corrupted, but I don't think that's the issue. They just are trying to reroute too much stuff at once, so I might want to pull the bottom section off or something. I mean, because we can reroute. It's not like the reroute tool causes a crash instantly. It's when we do it a bunch of times, it like flips out or something. It's like, you want to do what? You already rearranged the routes. You don't need to do it again. I'm gonna crash. I'll show you. Then again, it might have to do with the specific part we're using on the rover or something. Well, I mean, stuff on the rover is all stock. That's all the stock parts. I'm not using anything custom on those. Spelunking on wherever that was. I think it said Elu. Extinguishing flames. It's a good thing. Whacking Kerbals. Alright, so start. Resume. Stream game. Alright, let's see if we can get this done. Okay, so first thing we gotta do is go back to the spaceplane hangar. Gotta load up our rover, and then we gotta do the whole rerouting thing. So that we can, this is just so we can bring in everything at once, not to have extra parts we have to put back on. Open base transfer rover, load, and then something to do. Yes, this is a, well, actually no, it's a Clampetron there, so that'll work then. All I have to do is basically pull this off. Attach it. It doesn't really have to. You don't really have to attach it the correct way. We just gotta be able to select it for the route. So we want to select everything, and then the new route part is this. And then we can just pull everything off the route and drop it into the subassembly. Base transfer rover. Yes to overwrite. And I'm just going to save that as it is. Alright, let's go over to here. Go ahead and open Sky Crane. Load. Alright, and I'm just going to pull everything from here off. Stick it over here for now. Let's pull that off of there. Alright, let's bring over one of the rovers. Can I rotate this while it's... No, I can't. And I just unattached the... Maybe we want to do that, though. Attach this onto here first. So it'll be easier to rotate this around and then attach the rover to that. Just want to make sure we get this centered as much as possible. Looks pretty okay. And the only thing here is that we have to readjust the whole entire rover now. First thing we gotta do is rotate it 90 degrees. And we gotta move it into place. Actually looks pretty good. Okay, next thing we need to do is we need to select the rotation tool on everything, including the docking port. Not that docking port, the yeah, there. So I would like to have, well, where's the wheel? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it will work. I think that'll work, actually. And we gotta do the same adjustments on this side. Oh wait, do we have a... Crap, we pulled off the, we also pulled off the extra port there. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we also want to make sure that these ports are not, like, buried inside each other. I think that's just, yeah, it's just that. It's not the docking port. So now the problem is, though, can't quite get a hold of that docking port without... There we go. Had to get in a bit closer. So I just want to go ahead and pull this out a bit. So I think there's a little bit of a angular issue still. Rotational issue. Somewhere. That looks better, but it still looks a little bit off. Let's move it in a bit closer. Actually, that looks pretty good, pretty damn good from that angle. Okay, there we go, perfect. We'll need to read. Well, actually, the problem is the port. I think on the station, on the crane, isn't really straight. Oh, it doesn't really matter as long as we can. Yeah, we'll need to readjust this. This one's off too, like crazy on this side. We want to make sure they're not buried like this. We want to make sure they're attached like this. That way, they don't glitch out when we try to deattach them. Now, we also need... Well, no, we do. We need to rotate these. At least somewhat this direction. Because these are supposed to land, right? So, we don't want these to be below this, basically. Because this is going to be the... These are the lander... That's the landing legs there. Let me go ahead and... let's go ahead and extend these real quick. Now we got to go to the selection. So this part will come off. So... we need to make sure that these wheels are above this. So we might have to go a full 90 degrees with these rovers. Make them just flat across. It's not going to help me aerodynamically, but I think we have to do it. Damn. Okay. Now we got to fix this frickin' thing. The first thing we have to do is try and get just the port on the rover. Stop that. What the hell? Oh, there we go, finally. I'll use the move tool and I'm going to pull this thing out. Again, we'll use this vertical kind of... Oh yeah, that's like way off. Holy crap. Let's pull out a bit more. I think I still have just the tiniest bits off. Still looks a little bit off. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's get it aligned on the Z-axis here. Actually, that might be X-axis, or Y-axis. That's pretty good. Alright, and then we want to rotate it as well, 90 degrees. Okay, and then what? We're gonna take these lining struts off, and we're gonna put on the other ones. So I think those are gonna be too weak. If we're gonna do this, might as well do it right. Good. Making sure they're attached to the right thing. And these start retracted. Alright, so we gotta do some serious strutting on this thing so that they don't wobble around so much. There's gonna be some amount of wobble, but I just need to make sure they don't cause any snappage or anything like that during flight. So, oh. First thing I'm gonna do is I want to attach them. There we go. Attach one there. Attach one here. So it'll give us that stability. Then I want to attach one here across. Gotta find the spot that works properly. Actually, I want to change that one over to here. And we are not done yet, oh no. We can't really put anything on the advanced grabbing unit. So I'll have to make do with that. God, there's so much strutting on this upper section, but we need it. These things cannot move whatsoever. Or they have to be able to have to restrict the movement insanely. Because these things, if we just let them do whatever, they're going to cause all kinds of hell. Ah, come on. Don't do this. Damn it, it should be a simple attachment. Why aren't you connecting? There. Weird. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. I still got a whole bottom section to put back on and hope it attaches correctly. So what else did I put on there? There's one... So there's one to here, one across, one across. Oh, there's also ones that go to the upper section. That's what I'm missing. And if you throw someone into it, they'll probably get julienne fried. It's like chopped in tiny pieces. It's like a friggin' jigsaw game or something. I have stuck a key in the middle of all this razor wire. You must get it without dying. Okay, so that's that. Where's our other stuff at that I unattached so we could do the rerouting stuff that we didn't actually have to do? Okay, and actually, you know what? Now that we got that on there, we're going to do some more shredding. Because there just already isn't enough shredding everywhere else. Like I said, it's really important that we get as little crap movement as possible out of this thing. That means we have to do crap tons of shredding, then we're going to do it. Jesus. Hey, okay. It's always fun when the game starts lagging when you're trying to duplicate parts. Alright, hopefully this will not move now. Trying to dock with these things is going to be interesting. So yeah, as far as how they affect the momentum and things. Speaking of which, we need to deal with the RCS now. So what I used last time were... What did I use? These. They actually didn't provide all that much. Of course, we were talking about something as big as what the fueler is, the docking section. I want something that's going to use as little propellant as possible. And these use the same amount, so what's the deal? Oh, this has a third axis. This doesn't. Or a fifth axis. This one doesn't. Actually, I used these, didn't I? Or something like those. 0.1. These are 0.08. 76, 0.1062. So it's a little bit more, but it might be, enough to make a difference. Because we only have, let's see, what's in these propellant tanks, so I can get them only selected. Or I could just go look them up over here, I suppose. So it's these. So these only have 20? Really? Only 20. I think we need some more propellant, to be honest. Well, that's interesting. Everything's on a different plane now because we've attached. We only have a mirrored attachment now, which is fine. It's just annoying. Okay, now it's actually... That was weird. Okay, so we have... let's see. So we've got 1, 2, 3 of those, which is 60, and then we've got 6 of these at 50 each, which is 300. Ew. I hope that's enough. Maybe we need them on a propellant section in here. Let's go ahead and just add a monopropellant section. It's not that big a deal. It's a Rockomax, so we can use the Rockomax parts here. This is a pretty small thing, so I'll still leave this there so we get about 2,000. These on, so we'll get about 2,000. Now, with all this extra stuff on here, I'm not sure if we'll have enough lift. We may need... Or wait, yeah, we will. Well, was there always 3 mammoths? Or did I just put those on? If I just put those on, then that's fine. Oh, well, the strutting is done. It's broken over here. Crap. All of our beautiful strutting is destroyed. No. I have to redo it all. Thankfully, the top section didn't happen this way, because if it did, oh boy, we'd be here for an hour. We're doing all that stuff. Okay, well, only one thing to do. Save this and go see if we can deattach the rovers. I'm not going to actually unattach them, but we're going to see if the option's there. It should be, because there's 2 docking ports and they're hooked together, so we should be able to undock them. This is going to be interesting trying to fly up, though. It's a lot more top-heavy than last time. And last time it did a lot of spinning around. Alright, so let's go up here. Yeah, undock. Alright, so what do we have? We have a reaction wheel there. We have one up here. We only have 2. Oh, maybe that'll be enough. And you know what? I didn't actually attach the RCS thrusters. So this would be a good time to go back to the VAB. Put in another reaction wheel in the center. May have to do the starting and the fuel lines again, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I want to put one right in the middle of this section. Another large reaction wheel. Okay, the starting's still there. Now we need the RCS thrusters, which I didn't put on yet. We'll do the smaller ones. Geez, 0.7. Thruster power 7, though. Those are more powerful than these ones. These ones are all 1, I think. The heck is that thing? Integrated RCS block. So, thruster power 1, 70 to 290, or, well, this doesn't have a Z-axis thrust, though. This does. So I would highly recommend 4. And no more than 4. That way, because we have more than 4, then you're having all kinds of different directions. Also, angle snapping is a must, so that you can align them up perfectly with each other. If they're out of alignment with each other, you're going to have a hell of a time. Okay, that should be good. Alright, so we got our last minute updates there. Let's go see what happens when we try and fly this thing. Aside from the usual insanity of the whole thing swirling around like like a coin in one of those gravity-fed coin things you put them in. They go around till they fall through the hole. Like one of those things. Alright, let's see, we'll get the SAS going. We'll start at 100% thrust and we'll see what happens. Oh, nice. We forgot to redo redo the staging. Very nice. It's always nice to blow up the launch pad in the morning. It's usually Jebediah's thing. This time we have a robot to replace Jebediah now. Yeah, that's what happened. For whatever reason, it decided to put the radial decouplers first instead of the rocket engines. Because, yeah, why would you put the rocket engines first? Makes too much sense. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to change this because, so that's going to come off. This part will come off. But then these two sections need to go up here. Because these are going to, this will disengage to drop the rovers onto the moon, and then when we get up a bit higher, we'll drop this off because we don't need it anymore after we get rid of the rovers. It's just a section to attach the whatever the hell this thing is, structural bit. Alright, save and launch. Okay, we should have a little bit different of a launch this time. Shouldn't blow up the launch pad immediately. Might drop something on top of it. 'Cause there's no, I don't think, well, we'll see what happens, but I don't think there's any way in hell we're going to get an early turn out of this thing. We're going to have to, maybe not to go all the way up straight. We'll have to see. I think it's just going to be too top heavy to safely maneuver that way. But we shall see. Oh, wow. That was more than enough thrust. Holy crap. Yeah, that would have been like crazy, crazy fast. Don't need to go that fast. This is about the right speed. You'll still get a little bit of moving around, but you're not going to go careening off one way or the other. If we're going too fast or too slow, the reaction wheels aren't going to be able to compensate no matter what you got on there. I got them in a pretty, actually, equidistant amount, so hopefully they have a little bit more of an impact on keeping this thing straight. But I still think it's going to start wobbling around once we get the mid-atmosphere level here, right in here. Because that's when things can start to wobble a lot. I'm also just going to go straight up. I think we got enough fuel to do it. I mean, if we got 4 of these engines and we're able to go half thrust, well, yeah, then maybe 2 would be full thrust. Well, we'll see what happens when these drop off. They might be up high enough that it won't matter. They only have 1 Kerbal engine, 1 Mammoth engine. And it's going to have a full tank once we get up there, too, so not too worried about that. What's 1860 monopropellant? That should be enough. This is a lot smaller than the refueler, so it should not take as much to get it to move around. It's actually going pretty straight. I think the equidistant reaction wheels helped a lot. It's kind of surprising. Alright, coming up on the first separation here. So we're going pretty much straight. It shouldn't be fine. We'll start doing our turn once we drop those off. Yeah, we have to go full thrust. Because I want to use the thrust on this engine to push the periapsis out as much as possible. Once we switch to this other one, it's going to be really hard. Also, I've actually found it's better to just burn it rather than go to the go up to the apoapsis point. I mean, when you do that, you get the apoapsis, not being so high, but at the same time, doing that, you lose a lot of speed, and so you have to reburn the speed, and you end up wasting a lot of fuel that way. So that's why it's always better to do the turn early. That way you get your apoapsis at a reasonable amount, not an insane amount, not too low, and also get the periapsis out quicker. Otherwise, you just have to do it this way. Given how stable it was, you probably could, if we need to redo it because we don't have fuel or something, we can try that. But I think this engine should be able to push this stuff. It's a mainsail, I believe. Oh yeah, it's a mainsail. Never mind. Yeah, we'll be fine. It may run this fuel down pretty damn fast, but oh, maybe not. It's got 11,000. We're only doing 54 a second, so. All right, let's go ahead and flatten this out a bit more. I even go down a little bit below the horizon line. We're going to end up with like an apoapsis of about 350,000, I think, though. We'll have to see. Well, it's going up a bit slower than the... No, maybe not. Maybe 220,000. The periapsis is actually coming out pretty damn fast now. Going below the horizon line seemed to really speed it up. That was a good idea. Yeah, it's going to be about 220 when it comes out. Or a little bit less. Or more, I mean. Actually, a lot more. Hell. I do think maybe it is going to be 320. Maybe I was right the first time. Because we're going to push this out to 80. Okay, it's not going to be 320. It's going to be 450. Or 500. Close enough. Alright, so we got our orbit. Nah, that's a new one. We got the rover icon there. So, there's the moon. Probably right around in here somewhere. That's not far enough. I was thinking more like over there. Yep, there we go. It's a nice orbit. Let's actually shrink it down a little bit. It's too much. So I don't want to have to burn quite so much to pull it around. Actually, a larger one might actually work better for that. Well, we'll see. We'll go with that and see what happens. Let's bring up our nav ball. Swing over to... our maneuver point. Maneuver target point. And make our way over to the moon. Go ahead and warp before it, so we can get in a little bit tighter and this a little more controlled. So about 3/4 warp in. Crap. There we go. Okay. So, burning in 5 seconds. We got plenty of fuel. We probably won't have to even dock with the station till after. Well, if we don't have to use any of our fuel to on the actual sky crane stage to get to the orbit and I think because we're going to have most of this fuel left. Okay, not most. We'll have 20 to 30% left by the time we finish this burn, and we'll probably have close to 10% left once we get the orbit around the moon. So we can actually use this to deorbit as well. This mainsail stage. A little bit anyway. Or not. No, we have no... the line wasn't there. The red line wasn't there to show the stage was at it. Actually, it probably was, we just couldn't see it. That's going to screw up a little bit, because now we have a lot less weight. Still, we should be able to get it pretty close to where we want it. Alright, let's go ahead and maneuver over to here. Or warp over to there, rather. So now we're going to use the sky crane stage a bit. We'll also have to see how much fuel we have left by the time we get in orbit. We're probably going to have most of it. More than enough to actually land the thing. Alright, let's flip retro. Now the action wheel's working, but not as well as I would hope. It takes a little like about half a second to actually get the momentum going enough. It works well enough though. It's definitely not super slow. I was going to put lights on this thing, wasn't I? Crap. Oh well, we're here, and that's just going to have to be that. I was actually swinging around to the light side, so that's good. We timed it up right. Again, I'm not going to worry about getting things as close as possible to that. As long as we're like around this general area, it'll be fine with me. So we can use the rovers to move things. That's why we're putting them down there. So we don't have to do the whole rocket jumping, hopping into place to attach the ports to each other nonsense. Although KSC did that once, and that was insane to watch happen. It's pretty damn good at the whole precision landing thing. Alright, I'm going to warp over to here. I'm going to pull in the apoapsis somewhere. Actually, we have to go beyond the periapsis a little bit. That'll actually push this over back across too. Then we need to set up our inclination maneuver. Well, let's do our inclination first. So let's set the target. I mean, it says 17.2, but I think that's because the target it's showing the inclination of the moon, is why. So this actually it's pretty close to what we want actually. My email is blowing up right now. Nothing serious. I would have to stop streaming for, but I'll have to deal with it once we're done. It's going to work there. And we'll get lined up with that maneuver node, and we will execute the burn. And then we'll pull in the periapsis. And see if we can't land this thing, or at least the rovers. And get this back up and actually get it docked with the station. Because what we'll do is now, as we bring up new sections, we'll rendezvous with the station first, dock them to the sky crane, drop off all the necessary bits, and then take the sky crane down and put the parts where we can get them with the rovers. Alright, go a bit closer. So we're going to do about 19-second burn. Now we're going to pull the periapsis around over here. I'll have to do some jiggering around to get that back around where it should be. That's what happens when you do burns. You move things around and have to readjust. Okay, and start. Pretty close. We'll take it. Alright, so we got a pretty good inclination here. It's not exactly on it, but it's good enough. So what we have to do now is I need to swing over to... or no, I just need to burn prograde here, I think. Or retrograde here. Let me just start up a node real quick and make sure that I'm not going crazy. So where is this? Where are we going to put it when we do this? Height-wise to 24. That should be pretty good. It's actually set to 20, or maybe 15. Now let's say 13. That'll put us a little bit north of it. That should be fine. If we wanted to, we could do a little bit of a normal burn, or an anti-normal burn, to bring it down a bit. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. The rovers can drive there, so wherever they end up at, that's where they end up at. Okay, let's line the maneuver. This one's going to be a 13-second burn. Again, I want to try and get as exact as possible with this one. You always want to be trying to be as exact as possible, but sometimes it matters a hell of a lot more than others. This is one of those times. So we can get the nodes right where we want them. We should be able to do a pretty good landing. Alright. So all we gotta do now is switch over to this wheel. Swing retrograde. And again, I don't really care so much insofar as where we land, as long as it's along this line somewhere, and not like, 100 kilometers from where this is at. And we could drive that distance, it's just going to be annoying if we have to carry a base section that far, because you can't go quite as fast. I don't think, we're not going to intersect our satellite either, which is good. That would be a bad thing if we intersected it and like smashed into it and blew everything up. I do want to do a save though, because it's always better to be prepared for failure than to expect success in this game, because expecting success is how you make an ass out of yourself. Alright, so I'm just going to warp to probably right in... Oh, what's our speed at right now? That's not too bad. I'm going to warp to right in here then. We'll probably speed up a little bit more, but not that much. Probably about 360, if even. By the time we get to where we're warping to. Okay, maybe more. Maybe 440. 50, 60, 70. Okay, a little more than I thought. Still, we got plenty of firepower here to do our thing. I'm going to warp in a little... Well, it's a little bit close. Where are we at? We're still 100,000 up. Yeah, no, we got to warp in closer. We got to start at least 30,000 up. This is going to be an interesting thing here, because we're not really so much going to land as... Oh, damn. The legs went away, didn't they? Crap. The landing struts broke off when we released that other section. It should be fine. These rover wheels, as long as we're going slow enough, should catch the impact. And we don't want to go too steep because we had that whole issue before. I also don't really want to slow down too much either. Let's get this down to 250, and then we shall see where we end up. That's reasonable, I think. I think we're going to need our RCS to try and keep us from turning too much. This is a little bit, with all this stuff on here, it's a little bit weird on the weight distribution. Oh crap, we've lost control. Of the probe. Well, that's not good. Yeah, no, we're on the wrong side of Kerbal. Crap. So it's actually going to start accelerating up to Wherever. No. Damn. You know, that was one thing I was worried about. I was going to put an antenna on this thing. Oh well. So that would mean that we'd have to have... we'd have to land on the dark side then. So that's the side facing Kerbal. Damn. Okay, let's go to load save. Alright, I got this. Now I have to go deal with this. So let me just drop off for a second here, and I'll be right back. Okay, we'll see if that doesn't... let's see what we were on, 19, right? I mean, I don't know what we can do about... Okay. Let me, give me a second again. Passwords are hard, apparently. Apparently. Okay, so, let's go ahead and reload this. I don't know what the hell we do about this. I guess we have to... I mean, no matter what I do, we're going to end up having this problem. So maybe what we need to do is... let's go ahead and let's try docking this to the station. I think what we'll need to do is we'll need to put a repeater or a receiver or transmitter somewhere on the moon to be able to relay the signal to anything we put in orbit around here, because it's just not going to work either otherwise. So first of all, okay, good, we still do have an orbit. We just need to pull the periapsis out a bit. It's not a very good orbit, though. Oh, well, we'll make it work. It's going to take a while to find the rendezvous point. It's prograde. I want to push the periapsis out so that it intersects with this here, because that way we'll have more of a chance to do to find a spot where we can rendezvous with the station. And we got plenty of fuel. I'm not worried about that. If we have this whole side like intersecting that, we'll have to change the inclination a bit, but that should be good. Alright, so now we're going to set this as our target because we need to do it that way. So what's our inclination looking like? Negative 1.4. We're going this way, so this will be the closest node. So, wrong way. Oh, cool. We got to a 0. Nice. Without having to move it around at all. Now let's just hope we can get to the node before we reach the actual maneuver point. Okay. Yep, with time to spare. I can't zoom in anymore. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so... A 1 second burn, seriously? That's kind of crazy. I'll have to be really careful with this one. Whoops. Yeah, okay. That was a little bit soon, but... It's going to be really... Oh wow, I think that was perfect. Nice. Okay, so we got an zero inclination, which is good, and we've got a couple of places where we'll be able to intersect over here. So that's 500 km, so that's our intersect point there. So that's good. And I'm just gonna put a maneuver node over here somewhere so we can work with it. Or over here. I'm on the wrong orbit. No. Okay. Let's hit the right button this time. So, now what? Every time I hear that ding... for my phone this time instead of... got these people that work for a company that does our accounting and things, and they just don't understand the meaning of the phrase. Well, I don't know. I guess they don't know what my hours are. It's probably why, but still, very annoying. So I spent the last Friday and today dealing with a lot of stuff for them. That I guess they do need to have it done, but at the same time, it's delaying a critical project that I'm working on, different from that. But whatever. It's oh wow, this might actually be really close. That's still. Oh no, wait, is this the one? Okay, yeah, this one. The pink one is the second intersect. You can have two intersect points. Okay, so that's not even close. Oh, whoops. So we'll have to jigger this around a bit. Ah, come on. Oh, wait. Aha. There we go. And, well, there's a question, though. Are we going to be on the right side of the moon at that point to have a signal? Guess there's only one way to find out. That is to burn it and see. So that's our maneuver node way over here. So actually we'll kind of get a preview because we'll have to we'll warp in between here. So no signal that, yeah. Well, it's not going to be exactly there either, though. I could leave it here just in its orbit. Once we set up this, I really hope they don't end up colliding there, though. And once I put it in once I do this maneuver, we can just leave it in this orbit and then bring up that relay station. Relay site, whatever we're going to do with that. I'll probably end up putting it on the pole or something. The North Pole of the moon. Oh. We went way the hell over. I mean, it's still doable, kind of. Actually, you know what? That might actually be better, to be honest with you, because now they're not going to intersect over here. Hi, good God. Okay. Oh, I turned the game audio down. Forgot about that. Alright, now good. Now lost the window on the KSP bar. Okay, so I think that's actually a good, that's another happy mistake there. Because this way it's not going to crash into it when it's going around the intersection point, which is what I was worried about. Now, I was going to do some recording for Chrono Cross, but all this other crap's just kind of screwed everything up, so we're going to just continue streaming until 10. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back to the Space Center, and we're going to build some sort of comm relay, so we can put that on the moon somewhere, because, well, it has to be on, I think it has to be on one of the poles, because that way you can get around. The issue is that, you know, when you get the moon in the way, the comm system, the network doesn't work, so we need to build something that has a relay on it. It's going to be probably attached to the Minmus lander or something, or at least the Minmus lander staging, or we can use the sub-assembly I built that has the mammoth on it. That would be kind of over. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, what if we dock with the... Okay, here's a crazy idea. So we got that up in orbit. We have a lot of fuel. What if we just take up a base section with an antenna on it? And... But we don't have the rovers on the moon yet. Because, okay, this is like a chicken or the egg thing. So this is going to be a pretty simple thing that we can just land up there and leave up there for now. And then we can, it has to have enough fuel to come back up off. Well, no, because it probably should be up there permanently, to be honest. Because it still needs to be able to relay the signal from Kerbal around to the other side of the moon when the base is on the opposite side. Okay, let's make something from scratch. Definitely going to use a remote guidance unit. We'll need a structural bit on top to attach an antenna to. We'll need to have solar panels and a pretty large battery capacity so that it will have enough power to run all the time. So let's put a... Actually, this kind of works. Can we scale this? No. I didn't know you had different, interesting, different configurations of this. Okay, what we'll do is we'll just stack these up a bit. We'll need to move that around a tiny bit so we get it centered. Or actually it is centered, isn't it? Never mind. Alright, so we got that there. Around the top of this we want to put panels for solar. Oh wow, that's not as big as I thought. So we'll probably want to use 2x3s. How many can we fit of those on here? So we got 4 on. Yeah, that'll work. That looks pretty good. And those should, I think these are the ones that will orient themselves to the thing. So let's go to communications. So we're gonna need something like a relay. What's the distance on this? Oh wow, well it's when transmitting, so I'm not sure if... I'm just checking out what kind of relay we might need in terms of like the size and whatnot. So it's gonna be a couple, maybe a minute or two to look this up. Alright, they say to use an R2A relay, so that's what we're going to do. Actually, if we can do 2 of them. That's a lot of power to suck down. And we're talking 68 a second. That's only when transmitting. We're not going to be transmitting. It's just going to be like, well, we'll see what happens. That's a good question. We'll put it on the launch pad and see if it drains it automatically or not. We do want to do rotation now. Okay, let's go ahead and retract these. So we got that. Next thing we need is going to be a reaction wheel. And then we'll need battery storage like you wouldn't believe. You know, this might be a good place to use our good old 50K battery, supercell battery. I mean, sure, it's kind of cheating, but whatever. Well, let's see what happens first. I don't want to use that unless I have to. So that seems to be a bit broken. Instead, we'll do this radial battery and we'll scale it up. I'll actually put 2 of them in here. Alright, now we need to do our landing stage. So that's going to be the actually, we'll use a different tank for that. You don't have to do these other ones on the outside like this. I'm just doing them because actually not this one. There's a better tank. Just gotta find the damn thing. I mean, it should be down here somewhere. I think it's gonna get screwed up when you put a bunch of stuff in here. That's too big. That's even worse. Where is this damn thing? There's supposed to be a one smaller than this, but one bigger than this. But I don't see it. That's a Rockamax tank. That's monopropellant. Oh, damn. I'm not going to take much more time trying to find it. We could do procedural, I suppose. Sounds like the next best option. Let's go ahead and center those a bit. And on these we're going to do poodlers or terriers, I guess is what we have. There it is. We're going to use landing struts, or the bigger landing legs. Yeah, landing struts. Okay, decoupler. Rockomax adapter. Then some jumbos. That just should be enough if we have asparagus stage. And large decouplers. Yeah, 4 should be enough. Then we need the nose cones, engines. I think this might need to be higher. We'll definitely have to do a fairing around this, I believe. And then what we can also do with this is put more solar panels on it. Perfect. Well, we can adjust those a bit too. So about getting as much energy as possible into that thing. Okay, so now strutting.
We'll do our usual strutting as well as some extra on the comm tower, I think. Kind of looks a little weird, but it'll do. Oh. Ah, crap, the fuel lines got screwed up on some of these. Just one of them, I guess. All the other stuff is fine, though. Oh, crap. We'll need to edit the fairing. Alright, we'll call this, so let me put it on the pad real quick, and we'll see if it's draining energy right off the bat or not. So if it doesn't drain energy when it's not transmitting data, transmitting is an action. If you're not carrying out the action, then okay, so it is using a little bit. Or is that, yeah, no, 0.05 is drain. So it does drain a bit, but only 0.05. Right. We don't have any fins or anything on it. Well, it should be fine. We didn't do the staging though. So these two are the first stages. Okay. And these four, I'm just gonna disable. Well, I can't disable them from that. I have to go and select them manually. That's fine. Now let's go ahead and see. Yeah, it's going to fly just fine. Set the fins. I didn't check the thrust to weight, but it's going pretty good, so I'm going to assume it's going to be fine to get up to orbit. Question is fuel, though, which should also be fine. Actually going a bit too fast. It's actually fine the way it was. Ah, crap. Actually, no, I do want to rotate this. This is getting a little out of control, though. Okay, there we go. Yeah, other way. Okay, there we go. Alright, a little bit of fun there, but we managed to get us to where we need to go to. Back in the right spot here. I think anytime you burn below prograde, you're going to push the periapsis out a lot faster. Problem is prograde moves with you, so you don't want to go too fast. For example, you don't want to go below the horizon until you're out in orbit. Or you have a really high apoapsis like we do now. Okay, the stages are done. I have quite a large apoapsis site. That's fine. It'll actually help us get to the moon, so. Alright. So all we really need to do is just to push this out towards there and then move it around. That's probably too much. That is a massive transfer window there. Inclination was kind of messed up by that burn. That screw up on the burn, so that's probably also hindering a bit. That's kind of one of those crazy orbits that I don't like. Not really much I can do about it though. Actually, that's much better. We'll do that. Oh, we get rid of the fairing. Alright, so I'm going to burn at 10. I find that's the perfect place to do it at because you get the best results when you burn at T minus 10. Allows you to get, you know, what you're actually looking at. If you burn around the node, you might get something close to this, but it's not going to be as exact as you can get with the T minus 10 burn. Don't know why it is, it just is. Whoa, okay. A little over on that, but that's fine. So let's warp to the moon here. What are we looking like on fuel? Still got quite a bit. And we got the whole upper stages too. Landing stages that we can use if we need to. So first thing we have to do is we have to get this into a orbit, and then we have to change the inclination to a... Yeah, okay. Just need to do a retro burn. Then we have to get the inclination into an orbital polar orbit. And then we have to try and land somewhere near the poles. This will be the last thing I'll do for this stream. I'll stream again later today. Okay, let's just warp over to Periapsis real quick. I'll burn off some more of this fuel. I don't think well, it may burn off the rest of it. We'll see. I'm going to try and not use this upper stage as much as possible. That doesn't really matter because we're not going to take off again. But I'd like to have the fuel to make adjustments if we need to coming down. So it does have to be... Well, maybe we can just stick this in orbit around the moon instead of putting it on the surface. Let's try that. Let's try putting it at a 300 km orbit. Or 300, yeah, 300 km. It's really, this should really be 133 km. We'll do a polar orbit though. We may need to bring another one of these up to, and put it in a asynchronous orbit with this one, or you know, reverse. Put it on the other side of where it's at, so we have continuous coverage or something. Okay. I need to burn prograde on Apoapsis though. So we can push the Periapsis out the same or nearly the same distance. Actually, let's warp a little bit further away. Warp already in progress. I'm gonna do a double warp, damn it. If you have double rainbows, we can do double warps. Alright, then we just need to burn a little bit more. Oh, alright, there we go. Now I just need to set up a inclination burn. Yeah, so I'm telling you to set that as the freaking target. Jeez. No, the moon. This giant planet right here. Set that as your target. God, finally. No, it says no target. What the hell? I guess we can't target it when we're this close? That doesn't make any sense. There. You know what? Forget it. We'll just do it manually. It's not that big a deal. We just gotta... I'm not gonna do an exact polar orbit. We're gonna do like a 80-degree orbit. Well, there's that for that stage. I'm hoping that this will be enough to keep it in contact now. So now let's go back to here. So I guess it should just automatically work. Let's go to the Space Center and start up the just jump on the other flight real quick, and then I'll stop the stream. We'll see if it actually does relay or not. I'm dubious about whether or not it'll automatically relay. It seems like you would have to have it turned on or something. Maybe not. So, Sky Crane. Oh, down here. Right then. Let's see what we got. There will be some points in time where well, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be behind the moon at for a limited amount of time on that 80-degree orbit. So let's take a look at the map here. I think it uses the best one it can find, so... Okay, yes, here we go. We're relaying around this. Nice. So let's speed up a little bit. Not quite as fast as before. Okay, yeah, so back here, and now we're... Yeah, so it is relaying automatically. But there are times where it's not going to be relaying. Good, it works though. That's what I wanted to know. Alright, so that will be it for now. I'll do some more streaming probably around 7 o'clock. I won't do any streaming tomorrow though, because I will have to be recording like hell to get the footage for Tuesday or Thursday. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Comments, questions, leave them below. And if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And I will see you later today for the next stream, where we will try and dock the Sky Crane and do what we were going to do, because I've actually forgotten what we were going to do with that now.